need a buzz happening in the room. So many people to meet. And we have some visitors here that I want to be sure to introduce you to. We've got a few guests. So each of our guests, I would ask you to please stand and remain standing once I call your name. And then we'll thank you, recognize you at the end. So Dave Birchsoffer is with High Touch Business Services and a guest of Sean Mullen. And Francis Bogus, is visiting Rotarian from Clinton and the father of our new member, Kimberly, who we'll be introducing today. So welcome, Francis. We go back a way, so happy to see you here. And it's tumbler time. So please consider donating $5 into the cup on your table if you don't have a green sign on your name badge. And even if you do, you can always put a few bucks in there because it all goes to a good cause, our Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation. And a sincere thank you for your continued support. So, where in the world is Club 27? We've got several signs out now. Spring break's hot and heavy, so we look forward to getting some fun photos in the future. Remember, you can check these out from Kitty. Okay, Carter, would you please come up? He's got an announcement for us. Carter Smith, board member and membership development chair.
Thank you. Well, you might be wondering, what's with the zebra jerseys? What's with the referee jerseys? You see myself, Kitty, Becky, supporting those here today. We'll get to that in a second, but first I want to say, March, one of my favorite months. Beautiful weather, time to get outside, and last but not least, it's March Madness season. We've got basketball coming up, conference tournaments. We've got the March Madness tournament here towards the end of March. And we thought to get around March Madness and to kind of get the club engaged, gonna kick off the inaugural Rotary Club of Des Moines March Madness tournament. So we're gonna engage all members in our club, a little bracket style competition across March and April, all in the name of being able to support the Rotary Club of Des Moines, maybe bring some members as guests, support each other as team members, play for a little trophy and a prize towards the end of April. We'll have some more announcements coming up over the next couple weeks. We're going to have a few teams, and everyone's going to be invited to participate on teams. And we'll have a little point system where you can only earn points by promoting the Rotary Club of Des Moines, bringing guests, maybe having a new member sign up over the course of the next couple months, all in the name of engaging our club and hopefully promoting the club more in the community. We'll have some more announcements coming soon, but in the meantime, maybe start thinking about some guests and ways in which you can participate in the game. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carter. So, all in a little fun. It's very easy to get these referee jerseys. You don't have to prove that anything. Just saying. I don't know if it'll get me down on the floor like we're a big game or not, but okay, I would now like to introduce our new member, Kimberly Stroke.
You got it.
Bogus. I have this mental thing that I don't want to say bogus because it's not, it's bogus. So come on up, Kimberly. Thank you. Kimberly works for the Young Women's Resource Center as their Senior Development Director, and she was sponsored by Sean Mullen. So thank you, Sean, and we're so grateful to have you, Kimberly. So we asked Kimberly 5 questions, fun facts, and here they are. You've got a free day. What would we find you doing? On my bike, hiking the great trails of the greater Des Moines area and enjoying the patio. Anywhere there's a patio. Where in the world have you traveled that you can't wait to go back to? Crater Lake, Oregon. Next time we'll jump in the lake. I'm gonna look at pictures for that.
Beautiful.
Okay. And what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? When I was in politics, someone told me never read the comments in articles or posts. Great. And what talent or skill do you possess that might surprise or delight people? I usually say what's on my mind. I lack a filter. This makes for good conversations. Okay, so you're joining Rotary. What can't you wait to tell your friends about our organization? You said you love science and that we have such an active role in eradicating polio. That's impressive. So I just want to share a little bit more that Kimberly shared with us. Kimberly's a California native and an Iowan by choice, and her wife and Kimberly have 4 kids, 3 of which have been adopted out of foster care, and they want to make Iowa a great place to live and raise their family. And Kimberly works for a nonprofit in development and sees firsthand the struggles that many have, and will work tirelessly to achieve equity here in the state of Iowa. And looking forward to the road ahead. So, you wanted to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy. Sean, thank you so very much for inviting me. I've listened to you sing beautiful music with my wife for years, and so I'm humbled to be here. I'm also humbled to have my dad here with me today, who is a Rotarian in Clinton. He does economic development to keep Iowa beautiful, and so helping restore our rural communities is very important. And I see so many of you that I've known in political, nonprofit, and all of you bring something to the table, and I'm very, very excited to be one of your newest members. So thank you.
And now, I'd like to ask Patty Quinsley to come up and introduce our speaker.
Okay, well, when I was getting ready for this, I thought I could go through our speaker today's CV and tell you all the wonderful things he's done. He's board certified, he did a geriatric residency at Mayo Clinic, got a master's in public health, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Been the chief medical officer at Broadlawns, worked at Des Moines University as associate dean. Then I thought, wait a minute, I want to tell you just who he really is. And I work with some of his patients, and I will just tell you the one thing I hear about from his patients is how much they love him. In fact, I would bet if he would let them, they would come to see him even when they were well. So the main things I hear about Dr. Yogi Shah is not, oh, he's got all these degrees and everything. What I hear is he is just a wonderful person. He is a knowledgeable doctor, and he is a caring and compassionate person that we are very, very lucky to have in our community.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan, for inviting me. This is my 3rd time. I've been here before. Last 2 times was in your different embassy club. So in next 20-25 minutes, I'd like to share with you what's the science behind brain health. What is the science behind term dementia prevention? And how does it work? So I'll give you, of course, very short, brief summary. Hopefully leave some time for questions and answers at the end. If you have a question during the talk, feel free to raise your hand, and if it is quick, I'll answer. If not, I will share my email, so feel free to question. If you have a question, not personal health question, but general question. Yeah, cheap way to get something out of it. Just because I got free lunch doesn't mean you get free lunch. So feel free to email me if it is related to this talk, and would love to share, because there's a lot of information and a lot can be. These are what I'm going to tell you in 20 minutes. Those are seminars out of seminars on it. I'll be going in July to Philadelphia. It's an international conference. It will last for 10 days just on the topic I'm going to talk about. So feel free to share and ask questions. So let me start with a thing which probably needs a lot of explanation. Dementia is not a normal part of aging. Can you see slides from there? If you can, just raise your hand. So each and every word of this needs explanation, meaning that most of us forget why one day we went from bedroom to kitchen just to realize, God, why did I come here? Or where is the remote? Or where is my car key? Or if I go downstairs in the basement, which side did I park my car, left or right? It takes about 2-3 minutes. So that's all, or longer sometimes. But that's all normal part of aging. That's where the brain is trying to prioritize what's important, what's not. So that's normal. Let me explain a couple of words before we go further. So dementia, when you hear word dementia, or we physicians use word dementia, that's a very broad umbrella term meaning a lot of different things. And it includes a lot of different diseases and conditions. Alzheimer's being the most common form of dementia, and many times it gets intermingled. So dementia is a broad umbrella term under which comes Alzheimer's disease, comes frontotemporal dementia, what unfortunately Bruce Willis has, comes Lewy body dementia, what Robin Williams had, vascular dementia, mixed dementia, and many other types. So dementia is just a term like cancer. If somebody has a cancer, they just don't say, oh, I got cancer. Cancer of what? Lung, brain, breast, of what? And then there are subtypes of that. So when we talk about prevention, Dr. Quinlesk and Patty and I talk about, or others talk about prevention, it's mainly about dementia of Alzheimer's type, late onset. Because Alzheimer's can be even early onset before happening age of 60, unfortunately, for few people. So hopefully this kind of makes at least the same ground we are talking about. Dementia is a broad umbrella term. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. Late dementia is after 60, 65, 70, and that's what we'll be focusing on. So since many of you are from C-suite and love graphs and colors, let me add something. So let me add some graph, and it's a complex graph, but will make some sense. So can you see? Sorry, am I supposed to touch it? So Yogi, what did you do? So, get out of this. Yeah, enough of your talk. So as you can see on the graph, it's what it goes through is a normal. It's a time. It's on timer. If I go over my time, it's going to fall on me. So as you can see, it's a normal, then preclinical, meaning that there are no symptoms, but the blood tests might be positive. Then comes at the end dementia, what we're going to talk about. And just before dementia happens, there's a term called MCI, mild cognitive impairment, MCI. You'll hear this term now frequently. I was lucky enough to be part of at Mayo in 2000 when this term was just coming out. So I've done some work on this topic of what is mild cognitive impairment. In nutshell, that means the difference between dementia and MCI is in dementia, there's enough cognitive decline that now part of my independence is lost. So either I cannot drive, or I might be able to drive but can't take off my finances because my checks are bouncing and I'm sending the same check again and again, or I might be able to do both but can't cook. I used to cook, the recipes came normal to me, now I can't. I cause fire. So part of my independence is lost, and that's dementia. If it is not lost, but takes a lot more to still do my functioning, I can still do my taxes, but make mistake 2-3 times. Or I can still drive, but instead of coming to Embassy Suite directly from Broadlawns, I took 3-4 detours. I went on west side, said, oh no, this is not the right street. Came here, that would be a little questioning. If I knew where I'm going. If it is an unknown place, it's a different story. So that's the difference between dementia, where independence is lost, MCI, where decline has happened more than aging, but independence is maintained with extra work. So the reason to talk about that is, by the time, unfortunately, people come to go to doctors or come to my clinic at Broadlawns, and we diagnose dementia, brain has seen the changes, pathological changes 18 years prior to the clinical diagnosis. 18. And the changes are now, and the reason I show this graph, even though it's very technical, the changes can be now picked up through different tests, different blood tests, we call it biomarkers, fluid in the back called CSF, different kind of scans called PET scans. And we have capacity in everywhere, but at Broadlawns, we use all the tools we have to detect dementia biomarkers as early as possible. And the reason for that is, then we can talk about prevention. It's like cholesterol. Just having high cholesterol doesn't mean I'm going to have heart attack. But if I pick up my cholesterol early, and then if I have family history, then I can work on my cholesterol to reduce it, to reduce my chance of getting heart attack. Same concept. That if I pick up my biomarkers for possible dementia early and work on it, do the prevention what we know, and then hopefully reduce my chance of dementia by 40% at least. So that's the biomarker field, which is a huge change. If you'd asked me in 2000 when I graduated, this was what we wanted to happen. It took us 20 years. This is just happening now. So 22 plus years for this field to have now blood markers, biomarkers, to now show that, hey, these are changes because of Alzheimer's, or no, these are not changes because of Alzheimer's disease. And then there's importance to that, but we'll talk more about it afterwards. So then the question is, what can you do? And before I answer, let me throw 3 terms you might have heard, not, but at least so that way we can understand why prevention works. And then there's a science behind prevention. Those of you who are in medical field, there's a journal called Lancet Medical Journal, did a very nice, thorough research, international research in 2000, and came up with a science behind 12 factors in our life that can reduce dementia chance by up to 40% or higher. So what are the things we need to know? 3 new terms maybe for you. One is called neuroplasticity. How many of you have heard term called neuroplasticity? Oh, many of you, good. So the neuroplasticity is a relatively new term. It came in 90s, but still relatively new in medicine, meaning that brain is not a fixed organ. That I was in medical school in India years ago, I was told, hey, whatever brain you have, at 6 years it's fixed, nothing will grow, no extra cells will grow. That's not true anymore. That brain cells grow every time we learn something new, we walk, we socialize, we eat healthier diet. The right environment can have neuroplasticity, new brain cells, new connections, and less chance of memory loss and dementia. So that can happen. The second, which is called cognitive reserve, that earlier we invest in our brain health, the better the brain cells, the capacity will be when we really need it in our 60s, 70s, 80s, and further. It's like, you understand this concept very well, you are Rotarians. It's like investment, financial investment. If you invest in your IPERS, 401, all the retirement plan early, at 25, then you'll have your funds, enough fund when you retire. If you start at 60, of course, you'll not have enough. Similar concept of cognitive reserve. So Kashan over here, Mr. Merchant, at his young age of 20 plus, he is at the right age to invest in his brain health, everything possible, so he'll have a lot more reserve than I would, since I just started a few years ago. So you are at already advantage. And then the third new term maybe for you, or at least in field, is epigenetics. Epigenetics, about the genetics. That whatever, the gene is a like a gun, there's a bullet in the gun, you load it, but lifestyle is the trigger. For most genes, we need a lifestyle to trigger it. And if we can change our lifestyle, that gene, even though it might be present to cause me dementia, doesn't have to cause me dementia. So that's the concept of epigenetics. So these are the 3 points on which the science of prevention would come up. Cognitive reserve, as early as possible, epigenetics, lifestyle changes, and neuroplasticity. Any questions so far? If not, there's a lot to talk. So let me quickly show you what are the 12 factors, what science, Lancet, world is telling us about prevention. I'll go through quickly, give you some percentage for each one, and then give you some highlights of key things which I feel might be helpful and important. So what it's going to do is go through in early life, what are the factors for prevention, in midlife, what are the prevention with percentage on the bottom, and then in late life. So as I mentioned, investment early on, those who don't finish high school, unfortunately don't have enough cognitive reserve to start with. If you educated, if you do masters, PhD, go on studying throughout your life, the brain cells will go on forming new cells, learning like what you're doing. It doesn't have to be just high school. You might be high school dropout, but if you learn throughout the life, you are investing in your cognitive reserve. Then comes the topic which brings a lot of discussion, and we don't have enough time, but hearing loss. So if I have a hearing loss during my midlife, and if I ignore it, don't put the hearing aids, unfortunately there is a high rate of converting to dementia when I grow to be age. And there are reasons for that. I quickly will mention 3 reasons. One, if I'm not having hearing, if I was on this table unable to hear properly, I would not take part in the conversation. So I get socially isolated and slowly depressed. Second, the hearing center, since I'm not giving appropriate stimulation to my area of brain, the area of brain near hearing center starts dying, and that happens to be memory center. And third, if my hearing is not proper to hear, I need to use a lot of my extra energy rather than remembering things. So that is 8% traumatic brain. I don't have to explain. Unfortunately, we love watching football and rugby and soccer, but that's where the traumatic brain comes. 3% uncontrolled hypertension. Having hypertension is nothing wrong, but uncontrolled. If you treat it with medicine, with DASH diet, with exercise, and lower it, that helps to reduce the chance of vascular dementia. Can you see it? Alcohol, I'm not going to touch it. It's a hot topic. Lunchtime is not the time to talk about alcohol. So unfortunately, the pendulum on alcohol has gone all the way. If I was to give talk 7 years ago, which I think I did years ago, there was, Mediterranean diet, glass of wine at 5, it helps our brain, but that is now limited to, here it says 21 units, but in reality, it's actually the US says 14 units only per week, and in Canada, it's become only 1 or 2 glass servings of alcohol per week, not per day, per week.
You've never been to Canada.
Yes, so these are the no, so I'm not saying, I'm just saying the science. What we do, what I do is different story, correct? Yeah. After this talk, I'll have to go and drink a couple of. But, so obesity is one person's smoking. If those who continue to smoke causes vascular changes, it continues. That depression, unmanaged, untreated depression, not just having depression, but if it is a depression and not treated, that can have 4% chance of leading that into dementia with time. And unfortunately, at Broadlawns, I tend to see a lot of patients with depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and also dementia. So that tends to happen in the common. Physical inactivity, socialization. People who are socially lonely, according to CDC now, being socially lonely is equivalent health damage like smoking 12 cigarettes per day. So when I ask my patients, hey, bring your partner, your friend, your loved one with you for the first visit, and when they come alone, unfortunately many do, that's already a red flag that they have social isolation and health effect of not being connected to society. Air pollution and unmanaged diabetes. So the point is there are a lot of factors we can control in our life, at least this 12 and many more. Sleep is not even put on this, and few other things are not put. And that can be done early on to reduce our chance by up to 40% or higher. And before time runs out, let me tell two things about prevention and the work Dr. Patty Quinless, YMCA, Mary Kelly are doing in our city. Patty has given her high quality professional time on this topic and have developed wonderful quiz, wonderful website when she was as a medical director on this topic. So I'm lucky to have her as a friend and what she has done for the community, which is YMCA is using that. So that's one. At Broadlawns, we try to, I want to not just dive, so unfortunately our healthcare in America has become is silo systems. That hey, we diagnose somebody with cancer or dementia and then most of the time give medicine and goodbye. But it's not a chronic conditions are not siloed conditions. It affects the caregiver, affects the lifestyle, affects the prevention. So we are trying to make it a more broad, holistic about prevention, early detection through biomarkers, then appropriate treatment, take care of the caregivers, and then hopefully appropriate guidance to the families and the patients. So that's what we are trying to do currently, and hopefully in the future with maybe bigger, broader, if it happens. So I'll pause here, stop here. I got multiple things I can talk. If there's a question, I'll take. If not, I can go on. Yeah, help.
Yes, you, couple places you could fit this, but you'd say regular love making. Has anybody done a study on that?
So Hal's question, I don't know if I can repeat that question or not, but I'll try. I'm supposed to report the question officially, it's getting recorded. I don't know. So Hal is taking the social connection a little bit more important, more physically. So the question is, the question is there a connection between physical act of lovemaking, act of sexual intercourse, does it, or some form of lovemaking, does it have relationship with dementia? No, good question. Not with dementia directly, but I'll tell you what are the benefits. There are 4 chemicals, this is off the topic, but 4 chemicals in our brain, they are called as happy chemicals. So dopamine is 1, serotonin is 2nd, 3rd is oxytocin, and 4th is endorphin. So dopamine is when we get our cup of wine, a cup of coffee, and we feel good. Hey, serotonin is feel good, antidepressant hormone. Oxytocin is trust hormone. That's when it gets released when child is born to the mother, when nursing happens and hugs happen. So to your point, there is a release of large amount of serotonin and oxytocin during lovemaking, and that in turn can help with not anti-dementia but helps with mood, and that can help. Yes, good question.
So if we test early in life for blood pressure and those kinds of things, why are we not testing early in life for these biomarkers for dementia?
Great question. So the question is If Yogi, if the biomarkers are available, and why are we not testing? The reason it is not tested yet is we have treatment available for early dementia and mild cognitive impairment now. It's called Leqembi, which we give at Broadlands, but that is not it's new enough that it's not approved for asymptomatic patients. So the day medicines are available and approved for asymptomatic positive biomarker patients, we'll start checking, and that's going to be not too far. There is a research, a study called AHEAD, 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 that's checking exactly what you asked. Normal patients, positive biomarkers, they're getting the same treatment patients with dementia gets it, and if we see that they're doing better overall, we'll start checking. Yeah, it will happen. I think in about, my guess is in 3 to 4 years, we'll be starting checking. Not only, by that time we'll have only simple blood draw from a finger like what we do for blood sugar.
I've been around long enough that I've never heard so much about mental health all through the years as I've grown. Is it because that people are talking about it more, or are there just more mental health issues besides what you're talking about?
So Ellen asked a great question about why are we talking more and why do we see more or hear more? Multiple reasons, Ellen. One is pandemic caused a lot more mental health condition than what we expected. So as you know, 10% of people with COVID got long COVID, 20% of that 10% got some new mental health condition, anxiety, depression, memory loss, dementia. So there's more and more coming out because of that, and more coming out because we are now detecting it.
It seems to me that with the advent of social media and the ability to communicate and visually with other people electronically, there'd be a lot more opportunities for anybody to continue to be socially active, even if they're restricted mobility-wise. And has there been any study as far as what impact continued education, ability to Skype or whatever with other people, has this had any effect on aging?
So the question is about the positive effect of social media on aging and on, yes, there are good research on the use of that, but my worry is the teenagers who are on social media, they are not developing the deep relationship which needs to be developed. So yes, for us it helps to be on social media and use the brain games and other games and connect with the family. So that should not be the only medium to be connected to society. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can you maybe tell us what it's like for people in rural communities versus urban communities?
So is there a difference between rural and urban? Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, there's a huge difference between minority, African American, Hispanic. They tend to, African American has dementia twice as more common as Caucasian. Hispanics are 1.5 times more common as Caucasian, but half diagnosed. Same thing in rural. So unfortunately, yes.
Is there any correlation, if there's a family history of dementia or Alzheimer's, in that being hereditary?
So the question about what is the genetics of it, there is a gene, and John has asked me this many times, and I try to deflect the answer, but I'll be open. I'll answer this today, John, for you. So yes, there is a gene called ApoE genetics, ApoE4 and 4. So if I was carrying the gene called ApoE4 and 4, I do have 8 to 10-fold higher chance of getting dementia compared to Patty, who is, let's say, ApoE2 and 2, which is protective. So there is a genetics. I don't focus on it more because I want people to focus on lifestyle. Once you focus, hey, I got 4 and 4, I'm doomed. No, that's not true. Yeah. Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, doctor, I assume it's possible that if a person has no genetic predisposition toward it, that those factors, one or more of those factors could give rise to dementia, even if there was no genetic disposition. And if that's the case, is it possible that if someone acquired dementia by virtue of the factors without any relationship to genetics, whether for that person's descendants, then there is a genetic disposition because you acquired it during your lifetime?
Great question, and that's the part of epigenetics on the other direction. That yes, I don't have the gene 4 and 4. So the question you heard, but 4 and 4. But if I am even 2 and 2, and if I get dementia for some reason, which can happen, would I now, if I don't have kids yet, would I have a chance? Luckily, that happens only before having kids. So yes, your worry is right. That not everybody with 4 and 4 will have dementia. Not everybody with APOE 2 and 2 will be protected. There's a mix of cases. Gloria, how are you?
Hi, good, how are you?
Good.
Excellent remarks, thank you for sharing. My question is, what is the role of a diet in prevention?
Great question. Gloria is saying excellent just because she's getting recorded, but anyway. Thank you. So what is the relation between diet? Huge. I can go on, but Patty does a great job. She's got talk tomorrow at Corinthian Baptist Church. So in nutshell, there is a lot of diets, but Mediterranean diet has been shown consistently to reduce chance of dementia. Mediterranean diet, which in nutshell, compared to our typical American diet, significant low red meat, significant low fat diet, dairy, and more fruits and vegetables. Hey, Carson, yes, you get the last chance. Last question to the youngest.
So I saw increased risk factors. Can you speak a little bit more on prevention, things like exercise or sleep and how they relate to dementia prevention?
I know, great question. I got a lot of slides on that. So let me talk about exercise and what can be done. So let me start with here. Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So exercise, lot of connection. Every time we walk, jog, run, take stairs, there's a chemical in the legs, a chemical in the muscle called BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, which gets released from the thigh, goes to my brain and forms new brain cells. So great, yes, exercise is the proven. Second, sleep is your second question. That is probably the second best thing we can do to get good amount of, sorry to rush fast. So unfortunately, by missing even one night of sleep, that protein we talked about, bad protein, amyloid, that can accumulate in my brain. So if I didn't sleep last night, I can guarantee you half of my talk would be jumbled. It is jumbled anyway, but it would be double than that. So sleep is very important. Yes, between lot of things we can do at your young age, appropriate amount of whatever you need, 6 to 8 range, pick your range. You have to feel fresh when you get up. Feel, hey, I got energy. And some form of combination of aerobic and resistance and workout regularly. Thank you all. I think I'm running.
Thank you. Oh, so many questions. I used to spend a lot of money on vitamins that had telomere stuff in it, but I noticed they don't sell those anymore, so it must have been for naught. Anyway, thank you so much, Yogi, for your interesting and informative presentation. And as a token of our appreciation for your time, we've donated a book in your honor to the Des Moines Public Library, and your book will become part of the Rotary Rosie Reader Van collection, traveling around Des Moines, sharing knowledge and books with the children and youth around the community. And our club donated $40,000 to the Des Moines Public Library Foundation to purchase that van. So
For my talk?
yeah. It adds up. We'll hit you up later. Okay, so upcoming speakers. We remember that we always encourage guests, but you do need to contact Kitty and RSVP for the meetings for yourself and your guests by 9 a.m. You cannot register your own guests, so that has to go through Kitty. And that way we can have name tags and do everything that we like to do for them. Because we know we've got lots of great, interesting speakers every single week. And speaking of speakers, next week, Billy Weathers will be here with the Be Well Foundation. March 21st, Chaz Allen, our own member, will be here talking about his role at the Iowa Utilities Association. And Kelly Norris with Plantsman, a curator and artist, will be with us on March 28th. So we also have fun scheduled coming up, as we always promise. Second Chance Tuesday is coming up at Big Grove Brewery at 5 p.m. And again, the fun and fellowship is always free, but the food and beverages are on your own. And we know that we'll be having some fun with our March membership madness. Thank you, Carter, for having fun. And he's got a whistle too to help keep us in line. So we're looking forward to having some fun with that. And the things that you'll accumulate for that also count towards your 1911 combination of points. So just don't want you to forget about all of that. So I want to thank you for being with us today and for being a vital part of the Rotary Club in Des Moines. Kimberly, we're so happy that you are part of our club. Francis, glad that you came to see this and that you're a Rotarian. And so until we meet again, let's get out there and have fun and do good in the name of Rotary. And don't forget to thank the women and girls in your lives tomorrow for International Women's Day and Spring Forward this week. So with that, we're adjourned.